first, like an AI recording.
Hello. The opinions shared on this show are the opinions of the host and the guest. Although there is some overlap with my professional life, the show is completely separate from my professional life. This show is for entertainment, and all opinions and suggestions should be checked against industry standards. So, if you like Put 'em on the Glass podcast, please like, share, subscribe to all of our platforms. I appreciate you listening and enjoy the show. Good morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're listening to this. This is James, the Ghost Set Killer with Put 'em on the Glass podcast. And this is Champion Alley right here, boys. Champion Alley. Today's guest is a former champion, just an all-around good guy. Who do we have with us today?
Hey, guys. My name is Ben Rorick. I'm out here in Utah.
Oh, dude, you guys got like, what is that? Angels, was the Devil's Staircase or Angels?
Devil's Staircase.
There it is, Devil's Staircase. Yeah, I knew it was something along those lines, but yeah, I want to get out there and hike that one day because
you got to.
Yeah, a friend of mine did it, and the pictures were like I got to get out there to that whole Arizona, Utah area just to do some exploring and some hiking because man, that's what we do. My wife and I love doing it. So.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, this is a great place to do it too. There's just everything to do: the hiking, fishing, hunting, all of it's right here, local. 15, 20 minutes away from the house.
Oh, bro, you're in heaven. They call West Virginia heaven, but man, it sounds like Utah's right there, right?
Oh, I love this place. It's a great place.
Well, then that John Denver's full of shit, man.
Oh, he is full of shit.
I love it. All right, Ben. So let's get some background on how'd you get in the industry, brother?
Well, it's quite interesting. I was working at a shop doing where they had auto glass, they had tint and audio, and I was actually the custom car audio fabricator. So I was doing that for many years. I'm originally from LA, California, and so down there, car audio is a big thing, big thing. Yeah. So when I moved to Utah, that's when I went right into was car audio. And what ended up happening is the economy kind of just crashed out and nobody wanted to do car audio anymore. So the owner of the company at the time gave me an option. Said, hey, you can either go find another job or you can jump into glass.
There was no easing into it, huh? Like, listen, bro, you can either go bounce or we'll get you into auto class.
No, this was a little Italian girl. She scared the hell out of me, dude.
That's awesome.
So I transferred right into glass, didn't skip a beat. And, this was back in 2004. And so I jumped right into it and I had a knack for it. It was just a natural thing for me to pick up. And I stuck with it. Now I'm 20 years into the job and I'm loving every minute.
Yeah, I'm with you. I joined in 2003 after my career of basket making. I used to make the little picnic baskets, for a company.
Those are cool.
Yeah, it was, there's a company out here called Longaberger Basket Factory, and they since went under, but they were big throughout the 80s and the 90s, so I went in right out of high school and then was doing that for 5 years and then got the layoff. When you're talking about the economy crashing, that market crash, I got the first round of layoffs, and I was like, "Well, what am I going to do?" And then finally, my mom seen an ad in a paper and for a trainee, so I jumped into it. But 20 years into the game, here I am.
Yeah, dude, 20 years now.
Yeah, 20 years into the game. So you got into the industry. Now I have to ask you because we all did the same thing. Did you just ride in a truck with a guy for well, you had some. I guess some influence in the business because you were working alongside of them, or what was your training like?
Yeah, well, the training was in shop. I didn't do anything mobile. So I was in shop all the time, and it was cool because I had, there's 3 other guys in there that would help me along the path. And the shop that I worked in was quite interesting. They specialized in classics. That's what they worked on, was a whole bunch of classics. So when I started my career, I started on classics. So I'm out here doing the 50s and 60s and some of the 70s, replacing the windshields, popping the door glasses out, replacing those curved back glasses.
Curved,
Curved.
curved. Oh my goodness. The one windshield, not to mean to cut you off there, but the one windshield
You
that
got
was
it.
like so curved. It was the windshield, not the back glass, but the windshield that was so curved that kind of gave me fits for a little bit was what was that, like the 59 Cadillac.
59
And then
Cadillac,
it wrapped,
yeah.
it curved at the top and it curved on the sides and it was just kind of, and it curved this way. So, and it, yeah, but anyways, go ahead, continue with your
Yeah,
classics.
those were impossible. Yeah, so that's where I kind of started off with those classics. And so I got really good at it. So when they started to throw these new cars at me, I was already kind of prepared to deal with something that was plastic, sensitive, may have been dry rotted.
Mm,
You know, you never know when you come across these parts and pieces on these older cars.
yeah.
So when I got into the new cars, it just it was an easy transition.
Mm,
So I did that for about 3 or 4 years at that company, and moved on to another company. Was there for a couple of years, but then what really introduced me to the real auto glass world was Technoglass with Troy
okay.
Mason.
Okay.
So when I started with him, I thought I was good. I thought I was the best already.
Mm.
Man, was I a hack.
Dude, doesn't that realization just go like, it really, like the look in the look in the mirror when you finally realize that, because you're exposed to a new culture, a new company, or a new way, and you're just like,
Yeah.
bruh, I really
Yeah.
thought I was good. Like I thought I was something, and this is, oh man, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. When you go in there and you brag to the owner that you can do windshield in 20 minutes, you know, he doesn't really think it doesn't really work out. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter what time it takes to do the dang windshield.
As long as it's done correctly, they don't give.
It's, yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's pause for a second in your journey
Yeah.
there. Let's not, because we are talking about the competition a little bit today because you are a champion. But Technoglass, from what I've seen, because I've been introduced to a few of you,
Yep.
oh, David, yourself, Travis, Krebs. So what was going on at Technoglass? Because all of you had a skill set that was already top notch coming into the competition. Like the first year in
Yeah.
19 with Travis and David that I competed, watching them, and then all those years that Travis competed was always in the top 4 and was always
Yeah.
like just putting it out there. Like, look, guys, I'm one of the best in the world, and there's no arguing it. So, what was the
Yeah,
culture
yeah.
like at Technoglass to lead to that?
Oh, geez. The culture was awesome. And I don't think I've ever seen a culture like this before where the spirit of competition was really strong. And it wasn't about necessarily beating or taking down your opponent. I don't know how to describe it. There was camaraderie, a lot of camaraderie. And so when someone needed help, someone was always there to answer a question. Like you said, Travis Krebs. Oh man, he's amazing. And we had Rick Maciel, and between those two guys and their training that they gave us, it was above and beyond. Travis Krebs went above and beyond every day. He was an amazing person to work with. Um, because of him and the mentorship and Troy Mason and the culture they had set in place, um, you couldn't help but learn and become a better technician with all these great guys around you. It brought everybody up. And the culture was the number one thing that did this. Everyone was there to back each other up. We were all friends. We all wanted to be the best. And we patted each other on the shoulder whenever we went to competition.
Okay, so there's a company out there that you've moved on. You work for another company or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing? What did you learn during that mentorship / culture that you've brought to the other companies you've worked for? And has that transition worked well, bringing that culture aboard? Has there been a bunch of resistance? I mean, like, how did that conversation start at Technoglass to get it to where it was one of the best places in the world to work?
Yeah, that's a good question because when I started with Technoglass, they already had that culture. They already had done that. I think I started with them right before, it was probably 2014, 2013 is when I started with them. So it took me a while to actually start competing. But they were always just there. They wanted us to succeed. And that's something that I have brought over with me to my other companies that I've started up for other businesses is the success that is needed. The trainers, the people above you need to be there all the time, helping you out, no questions asked. If you make a mistake, this is a learning topic. This is a learning point. This is you made a mistake. I make mistakes. It
Mm-hmm.
happens, but we're going to learn from it. We're not going to be upset about it, and we're going to move forward. And having that mentorship is extremely important. It helps guide these younger guys that are kind of lost in this world to acquire a craft and a trade that is kind of disappearing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well,
but yeah, it was very important to bring that culture over with me everywhere I went.
Well, that mentorship is kind of disappearing and it kind of started disappearing in the 90s. If you've realized that a lot of the people that learned their trade from the previous person, once we hit that Gen X area for us, for some reason, it wasn't really wanting to pass it on. Now we are, but it really wasn't wanting to be passed on to us. So we had to I learned it the hard way. You learned the hard way, even though the mentorship back, the generations before us was kind of passed down, like, storytelling is passed down. And then it kind of stopped. And I'm honestly impressed and very proud that you are trying to, myself, there's a few of us that are trying to bring that role of mentorship back to it.
Oh, yeah.
That just because you pass your knowledge on to somebody and help them out in a situation that you had to learn the hard way doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make you less of a technician. It actually makes you better of a technician, and you are the one that is looked to. I mean, that's a sense of pride. So I really appreciate you bringing that up. I really appreciate you bringing that up, that mentorship, because it has it's faded, man. Like, I can't.
It's faded. It's gone away.
Yeah, and our industry is starting to hopefully with people like you that are trying to bring that back, is hopefully going to gain another spark to bring that new generation back into it. Now, I do feel, tell me if you think I'm wrong here, that it's going to have to come with an adjustment of work schedule, because the newer generation is not willing to work 60 hours a week to get something done. They want to work 30 hours a week. They want to work 3 10-hour days. They want to work, 5 4-hour days.
Yeah.
So it's going to have to be maybe 2 techs to do the work of what one of us did back in the day, but it's not going to cost you anymore. But am I wrong on that assessment?
No, I think you hit the nail on the head on that one. Yeah.
Because they value their time.
They really do.
And I think that is a testament to our parenting style, for, because these are our children, and grandchildren that are starting to come out, is like, they watched us work ourselves, trying to make a baseball game, that you want to be to because your kid's doing so good, or just because you want to support them, and you're flying home at 80 miles an hour. You just did 10 jobs and you're just like, oh, and then you get there and you're all worn out and you're trying to focus and you're trying to be, or you come and you're like an inning or two late, and you see the look on their face. So I honestly think that their experiences through their childhood of watching us really was like, hey, I don't think I want to do that. Now, that's not saying they're lazy. It's not saying they're lazy, because a lot of people in this newer workforce, they're not lazy. They just value their time. So they want to make sure that that's respected. So they'll come to work and they'll work hard for you, but there has to be a cultural adjustment with that. And I think that's where your mentorship comes in, is like shows them that, we're willing to do the culture shift, but still got to put the work out.
Exactly. There's no reason why we can't have fun while we're working. That's one of my biggest things is let's have fun. Let's make this an enjoyable day.
Yeah. No, 100%. And then when you find that one coworker, you can click with all your coworkers, but when you find that one coworker that you click with, oh man, is it like, it's so much fun. Like, cause it's like, you're kind of giddy to go to work because you're driving there and you're thinking all the crazy things you guys have done or said, or, like shop talk that's been going on. And you're just like, oh man, this is going to be a good day, And then a lot of times if you come in a bad mood, that person can help switch you, or vice versa.
It switches you right over. I've got a guy like that right now who's been in the business for 6 months now. I've been training him, and I click with him, and it's just a good time. We have conversations while we're pulling out windshields together. We laugh about what other technicians are doing to their windshields.
So, were you always really perfectionist about your job, or were you one of us that had to learn the hard way that you needed to start pulling cows and you needed to start really paying attention to what you were doing?
I thought I was a perfectionist working with all these classics. I thought I knew what I was doing. I thought I was perfect and careful and all these great things. But then, like I said, once I got to that company, Technoglass, I found out, geez, I never put a hood mat my entire life. Then I get to Technoglass, they've got a hood mat and a sheet on the interior, and they're taping things down, and I'm going, what a waste of time. What a waste of time.
Thank you. Everybody thinks that, because I had to adopt that into my routine too, because I'm huge on vehicle protection. Huge. But go ahead.
Yeah.
What a waste of time.
What a waste of time. And then the more I got into it, doing it, the less complaints from customers I actually saw. It was interesting, just the switch, Oh, there's no. Usually it was there's glass in my dash, or there's glue on my floorboard, or you guys touched my car with the glue, or something like that. And now with all these protection things that we do, our personal protection as well, with our aprons, the belts we wear, the shoes we wear, everything down to the shoelaces that we wear to protect these vehicles. And so I didn't actually realize that. I guess I was a perfectionist, but not to the extent that I am today. And getting into it, it changed a lot for me. And it also changed the perspective of the customer. Because when I go to their house and they're seeing me cover a dash, they're seeing me do all these extras. And then when they come and you explain to them, hey, this is what we've done to your vehicle today. We covered this, we wiped down your dash, we wiped this down, we vacuumed this out. And you go through that routine with them, man, you just have a friend now. That customer just becomes a friend. You went through and you explained to them all these things. You took care of their car as if it were your car. And now you got a lifetime customer. And it's amazing to see their faces compared to, they'll tell you the last guys didn't do this, this, and this. Well, we don't really care about the last guys. We're doing what we're doing. How do you like it?
How do you like it? Now, if you want, tell your friends, do this. What you said there was funny. It was great about the customer and the perception. So there's this dealership here in Ohio that I was doing with the company I was previously at. And we didn't get the call every time. We didn't. Well, I pull up, I get the keys from Mitchell, and I'm walking out there, and I'm starting the job, and I hear these people arguing behind me, like really arguing, like going at it. And I'm like, what is going on? Well, I realize it's Mitchell and his manager, because we did charge more for installing their glass. And they're yelling back and forth, and the manager's like, you're going to be the one that's going to have to pay for this, and blah, blah, blah. Come out, and Mitchell's like, come here, motherfucker, come here. And he points at me, and then he goes around, and he shows he's pointing at the seat covers, and this was before I had all my Curbo covers. I was using, like you said, a sheet and a moving blanket. He's like, this is why I fucking call them. I don't have my customers coming back at me about all this bullshit because they think we put the glass in. This is why I call it. And we actually earned that account out of that argument. So they actually were okay to, the manager seen that, the service manager seen that, and actually started giving us, which it's a huge dealership here in Ohio. So we only had the Toyota part of it because the other service managers didn't want to pay what we were asking, which it wasn't much more. To be completely honest with you, it was only $25 more than the other guys.
Yeah, which isn't really much.
Yeah, which isn't much. We were only $25 more than the other glass shops in the area, but we achieved Toyota, and the rest of the shops didn't want to use this. But then Nissan had a return customer that was mad because the glass company did some bad stuff, so we fixed theirs. So then we started doing Nissan too, but we never did grow to the rest of them. But customer perception, so you think it's a waste of time, okay? But when someone comes in to replace your hot water tank, or the HVAC guy comes in and he's just throwing stuff around, and he opens his van and just I'm like, whoa, bro, like you're working on my stuff. He could be the best. He could be the best technically sound HVAC technician in the world, but because he's sloppy, his work looks sloppy, his van's sloppy, I don't want him in my house, bro. So
exactly. That don't happen. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah. But
customer perception is really important.
Well, yeah, and in our industry, there's so much of this, like you said, oh, it's a waste of time, or I've been doing this 20 years and I don't have comebacks and I don't have, well, okay, and you're fast, okay,
Hmm.
but a customer might be like impressed that you're so fast, but the minute that, like you said, they look and they're like, why is there black fingerprints on the inside of my A pillar? What is that? You know what I mean? Or they're not even A pillar
Yeah.
in the inside of that cover right there. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just little things like that. So it sounded
Goes a
like
long way.
yeah, it sounds like Technoglass was a. I mean, we all know from watching you guys compete, okay, but to find out that it was more than just a few of you, that is the part that's impressive, because you always
Yeah.
have the one or two people that you see in the shop. Like even the bigger companies have the one or two technicians that are good, but the rest of them are crap. You know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
in an independent I came from, it was the way you're talking about Technoglass. We all did these things. It was just what you did, you
Yeah. Yeah.
know?
It was a
And
normal standard procedure.
yeah, and the minute that you started to skate outside of that a little bit, like maybe you got complacent, you got a little lazy, you know, Big James be like, oh, you ain't covering that today, hack. Oh, okay. Okay, I see how it is. Oh, we can come to work and fuck off. Oh, cool. Let's do this. Excuse my cursing, everybody, but like that was just the shop talk that would go on, because
Yeah.
you know, if I'd get complacent on a car, or like, you know, this guy's only got, you know, enough money for a beat up Ranger, but I'm treating it like it's a beat up Ranger instead of like it's the only thing he's got money for, then
Yeah.
you know what I mean? He would seriously, and I would hold him accountable on some things, you know, because he was our classic car guy. Like he grew up in the business. His dad owned a body shop and he knows all the classic
Oh
stuff.
wow.
But we would get to the classic stuff, and he's not throwing anything on the seat. And I'm like, oh, okay, we're going to take it easy today. That's what we're doing, huh? We're taking it easy today? All right, man. And then he would go back to the van and grab a blanket, you know, a drop cloth, and throw it over the seats, you know. So you don't have to have the fanciest covers. The fancy covers that I have now from Kerbo are nice. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
They're amazing, and I hope to never have to go back to anything else. But some Harbor Freight $5 moving blankets, a drop cloth that's like $20 at
Bingo.
Home Depot, boom, and you look so much more professional.
Oh, absolutely. What a difference it makes. And if you can get it one colored, you know,
Oh,
like
yeah.
one of our color for Technoglass was black and red. So our sheets were all red. You know, we gave you the red sheet treatment. It was
That's
great too.
awesome.
It was a good time.
Yeah, the red glove treatment too. You put your red gloves on. You're going instead of
Yeah.
white glove treatment. You got the red glove and you got the red sheet treatment. We're gonna roll out the red carpet for you. What is that
Yeah.
with? I get it. Red and black is like a cool color combination. But
Oh, dude.
it is so prevalent in our industry. Like,
It is. It is. I don't know what the deal is with that. I don't
yeah,
know if people were trying to copy Safelite or Safelite was trying to copy others or what was
yeah.
going on with that situation. I don't know.
I don't know, but there's a lot of red and black companies out there. I like the companies that try to go away from the norm and do maybe the black and the neon greens, or the black and the
Yeah.
yellows, or the yellow and blues, or the
Mm.
because yeah, it just gets away from that a little bit, or
Yeah,
even
this
black and
last year,
white.
this last year, I don't remember who the competitor was, but he had, it was orange. He had his orange sneakers on. He had his orange, like drop cloth. I don't remember who the guy was, but everything on him was just, it was
That's Dave.
beautiful.
That's Dave Koppel with the
Oh,
Autoglass
was that?
Helpline. That's Dave Koppel
Oh,
with the Autoglass Helpline. I believe
I
that's
love
who you were
that.
talking about. Yeah, the Dave Koppel with the Autoglass Helpline. That dude is oranged out, and I love it. I love it because it's
Oh, I
different,
loved it.
you know. And orange is Drift Chris's color too. So Drift has all
Yeah.
orange like stuff as well. So yeah, I
Yeah,
love
it
that.
caught my eyes.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what you want. You want that, like, oh, what? Okay. You know, like my favorite color is pink. So if I'd have a company, it'd either be pink and white, or pink and, or black and pink, or something along those lines. Because
Yeah,
that's my
yeah.
favorite color. So I would be like rocking that. Be a little different because everybody be coming up being like, oh man, I thought this was a female company.
Thought you were here to clean our house.
Yeah, right? Is this Mary Maids? No, this isn't
Yeah, there
Mary
you go.
Maids. Yeah, absolutely not. So then you're talking about the competition. Now you're with you're with Technoglass. That's where you competed, right?
Hmm.
Okay. So walk me down how you got into competing and how your years went. Did you win right off the get?
Oh, geez. No. So my first competition was our internal competition. Technoglass always had an internal competition about 3 or 4 months prior to the nationals. And that was to kind of narrow down and select those who were going to go. So my first one was 2014, and the internal competition. And I didn't at that point. I still didn't know or understand everything. I still didn't know all the rules and regulations and
Mm-hmm.
all that good stuff. But at that time, the judging also had a time frame in it too. You were judged on time as well. So because I'm so tall and lanky, I'm able to reach across these cars and cold knife them in seconds. And so I made it to the finals in our internal competition, which surprised me, but I never actually made it. And I think it took me about 2 years, and I actually made it. And that's when I went to the 2015 Reno. And surprisingly, I didn't place for the windshield replacement, but I placed third in the rock chip repair, and also happened to get the award, the Innovation Tool Award. So
Oh,
that
okay.
was my very first experience. Third place at rock chip, Innovation Tool Award. I came prepared to kick some butt, but after seeing everybody, I knew how far I was. I still had so much more to go after watching not only my teammates but the other guys across the world competing and what they brought to the table. Man, that was a gut punch. Just seeing those guys, I'm like, man, I still have so much more to go. What do I have to do? Those are the grindstone. I practice every car like it was a competition car. Customers, I'd pull them into the shop, sit them down. You're going to be my customer. This is what we're going to do today. And that's how
Nice.
I kind of went through the competitions because man, after losing, it hurt.
Oh,
It hurt, man.
yeah, yeah.
Like,
That's one
like
thing that, yeah.
I teared up.
Oh,
You know, I step outside and went, oh, geez, man, what did I do? What did I do? I teared up a little bit. Came back, 2016, lost again. Man, is this really for me? Am I really gonna? And then I ended up having a back surgery.
oh,
And 6 months later, I came to Florida and competed. And I'm thinking, this is it. This is my last competition. If I don't make it this time, I just can't do it anymore because of my back.
mm-hmm.
Holy smokes, man. That was, I came in there, I think, with the right attitude and just dominated.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was a crazy year because we had, within 3 months, we had a back surgery. My wife had a baby. She had a heart surgery. And then we just had Christmas.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And then you go, you're like, you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead. I'm just gonna go. Just let me go and see what happens. And then you're like, yeah, guess what, guys? I'm the best in the world. So yeah, all that was just stepping stones, bro. Like, don't even worry about that.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I don't
was
think
pretty
that
hard.
that's yeah, I don't think that that's given enough credit. Because it's discounted a little bit, the competition's discounted a little bit, even though you and I both know that it's as real world you get. We're looking for the best in the world. So it has to be a little bit more difficult than real world. So we want the best in the world, but the disappointment that comes along with it. Cause like I hadn't cried in years. I had not cried in years, but when I missed the finals in 19, when they came out, I was in my Airbnb. I stayed in the Airbnb about a mile away because I know myself, when I'm competing in anything, I'm good inside the competition, and I'm pretty friendly outside the competition ring. But then I want to remove myself from my competitors. That's just something I've always done. You know what I mean? It's just even if it's inside of a truck, during a motocross race, I'll stick in myself instead of But anyways,
Yeah.
I found out I didn't make the finals, and I was like, I cried a little bit. I was like, man, this sucks. Just tear out. You're like, fuck. And then come back and in Florida get third. Great. Okay, that it was a letdown, but it wasn't bad. And then I go to San Antonio and thinking this is going to be my year, and then I didn't make the finals. So that was myself and Bradford we shared an Airbnb that year. That was a bad night for everybody
I
because we
got
were
snubbed twice in San Antonio. San Antonio has never been a good place for me.
Oh man, and then obviously went back to Florida or to Virginia Beach. Sorry, went to Virginia Beach and won it. And but dude, it like that. I'm glad you said something about the disappointment part of it because I'm going to do a little series about getting people ready for competing since I'm not judging this year.
Yeah.
I'm going to do a little series like, here's how we're going to get our tools here. Here's the tools you need to bring, that we recommend that you bring. Here's kind of what you kind of want to look for, what you want to start doing now. Where if you've not been doing some of this stuff, here's kind of some of the things that you want to get yourself prepared for. But one of the things I'm really going to drive home is what you said: is come with the right attitude. But if you don't make it, understand there's going to be the disappointment. Understand that it's hard. It's not an easy thing, and
No.
we're professionals. We care about what we do, and that disappointment is one of those things that you're just like, man, am I really cut out to keep doing this? You know what I mean? Like, am I really, is this really for me? And it is for you. It is for you. It really is for you. And it just, it's fun. Come on out, do it, but be prepared that if you don't make it, if you don't make it, it's going to make you a better technician no matter where you finish.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
It did me.
It will. It's not just you. And believe it or not, the other competitors that I was with too, from Technoglass and other competitors that I have friendships with, they didn't win. You could see the emotions in their eyes too, man. I mean, they dropped tears as well. They turned around and dropped tears. I mean, all these guys are professionals, the best of the best. And you're absolutely right. It's so hard to just swallow that, just to go, man, am I the best? Yeah. Well, you're here and you're competing with the best. You are the best. And the crazy thing is that the winners, it's usually by a half a point or a point.
Oh, yeah.
Holy smokes, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely amazing that we're this close, and it's half a point and a point there and 3 points there. Oh, I could have almost won. And just seeing the point difference if you didn't win, man, that hurt. I go to my room for that night and just crawled to bed.
Yeah, let's see, in 19, I missed the finals by, I think it was 2 points. And in 22, it was by a point. I think I won by a point or somewhere in there. I can't remember. It was like a point or something like that. And then I know that, this past year that when I judged, the top 4, 2 of them were tied with like,
it was time.
Yeah. It was like 6 people, 7 people plus the 2. So it was like 8 people or 9 people total that had tied on points, but it literally came down to seconds. Like we were reading our timesheets and then trying to figure out who got the, so the final 2 spots that went in was because of time, even though they tied in the points. And so it's so close. So if you are there, if you decide to come out and you believe in yourself and your sponsors, whoever sponsors you, or you do it on your own, believe in yourself, and you get in there and you see the points of these are the best in the world. I mean,
hands down, my brother,
in the world. And you might sit and think, wow, man, is this for me? Or wow, why is he doing that? Or why is she doing that? Or why is it doing this? Or why is it? It's because they're the best, and those little details are what matter. That's what separates it, because it's so close. Yeah. You have to have that little bit, just that little bit of, that sets you apart, that gets you those extra points, man. So, come on out and become one of the best in the world, because, and not ever, like, there's only so many spots.
Exactly.
So, run in and get your car as fast as you can, because there's only so many spots. So that those spots are there, right there. And then the top 4, the finalist, you go in knowing that you're one of the top 4 in the world, period.
Bingo.
And so that final is, dude, okay, how nervous were you for the final? like let's be honest, because I've done 2 finals in my time, and go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, man. You've been doing this for 15, 12, 20 years. And when they say go, you forget everything. Am I a glass tech? What am I doing here? What the heck is this suction cup thing? How do I use this cold knife? How do I? And everything just goes away when they say go. Take a few seconds, you take a breath, and you go, okay, I got this. And you go right after that customer. But,
yeah, like you're standing there before, okay, so they let you stand there for what, 10, 20 minutes before they let
10,
you into
20
the
minutes.
before they let you into the actual competition floor and start getting set up for your 10-minute setup time.
Jeez.
So you're like talking to people and you're looking at people, and you know, like I'm starting to sweat a little bit under my beard here, my hands,
sweat.
yeah, and then you're just kind of talking, you're looking at your competitors, you're shaking your head and stuff, and I'll never so in Orlando, when I took third, we just came off of a 2-week bike ride, or a week and a half bike ride from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania to Washington, D.C., a bicycle ride.
Oh, wow.
So we jump in a car, go home, pick up our dog, and then go to Orlando. So I get there just in time, to get to the competitor meeting and all that, right? So like I'm trying to look as professional as I can, with my all ratty. I don't know where to go for a barber down there or whatever, but coming into the finals, and I'm just like looking around, and Mackenzie's all, you know, clean and this, and like I'm clean, my uniform's clean and stuff, but like my beard's all like out here, and there's even a picture of me with my hat on, because I always wear my hat cocked to the side, my hat on sideways. My glasses, but then my beard's like all up in my eyeballs and stuff, and I'm trimming a bead. And I'm like, really, dude? Like, come on, man. Like, it's just, you know, because I was scruffy, because I was trying to squeeze so much in at once, because they kept moving it on us because of COVID. It was supposed to be in September, and then it came down to June, and, you know, but anyways. So when I went in to the finals in the last year that I competed, you can't, once you walk onto the floor, you cannot talk to anybody outside of the floor. You cannot talk to anybody. So I get in there, and I'm so full of nervous energy, because I know win or lose, this was my last competition. Win or lose, this was my last time going. I knew that going into that year, and I knew I already became okay with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like win or lose, this is my last go. So I'm standing there, and I'm like really nervous, and you know, waiting for them to tell us what we can go and everything. And I'm kind of, you know. And I wanted to go over and give my wife a hug and a kiss, you know, because it calmed me down. I couldn't. Yeah. So I look over across from me, and one of my best friends is standing across from me, Aaron Bradford, on the competition floor. So I'm obviously not going to give him a kiss, but I walk over and I was like, good luck, brother, and gave him a hug. Like, I'm like trying to calm him down, and he's calming me down. He's like, yeah, good luck, brother. And we hug it out. And then I go back, and my mind is like, calm and clear. So Bradford, if you listen to this, my 20, and I've told you this in private, my 23 championship probably wouldn't have been there if you wouldn't have calmed me down prior to going.
Oh man, yeah, I totally get that, man. I mean, even after the third or fourth competition that I've done, you know, I sweat a lot when I work. You know?
Yes. Yep.
But at those competitions, holy smokes! I had to wear sweatbands on my wrist, on my forehead. I came with like 6 different hats, and I was constantly changing them out as I soaked them up.
Yep.
But yeah, the nervousness and the nerves when they say go, it's just it's absolutely crazy to think that, you know, you've been doing it for so long. But when they say that, yeah, it's all hands on deck at that point. And
well, yeah, because you walk up and you realize there's 250, 300 people watching you, like surrounded, and then, you know, people are walking in and out as you're doing it, you know, and then you have, okay, so the judges in our industry are some legends. They're legends in our industry. Top-notch legends. They are just, so like, not only are you fanboying a little bit, awestruck and fanboying a little bit, then you realize that you look over, you're working, you look over, and then Bob Baranik's sitting in the seat next to you while you're wiring it out, and you're like,
breathing on your neck.
Yeah, you're like, or you're getting ready to run your bead on the glass, and you look over, and standing right here is Jason Horn, and you're like, you know, and you're getting ready to set it, you look over, and there's Joe Estrada, you're like,
should I be setting this, or do I have something wrong, man?
Exactly. Yeah, what am I doing wrong, you know? So, and coming from being a judge last year, I know that that's part of it. That's part of the, you know, because they want the best of the best. They want to make sure that they're checking everything. They don't want you to lose the competition because they missed something. That is the biggest thing that was pushed into me when I was judging was these, you know, you've been there, and I'm like, yeah, they're coming all this way with their tools. They spent a lot of money to get here. You do not cost them their chance at a title. So you make sure that you're paying attention, you're hitting all your marks, you're hitting everywhere you're supposed to be, you're making sure that everything, because if you cost them, you know what I mean, there's 3 of us on the floor to catch if you do miss some, because you can't catch everything. But if you
Absolutely.
decide to become relaxed and then you miss something, you're not standing there when they do something. And then it's like, yeah, I did that. And it's like, well, nobody's seen you do it. That means that judge cost that person those points. So it is very important when you see your judges up against you. They're not saying you did something wrong. What they're doing is making sure they didn't miss. But your mind thinks that. Like, what did I do? Did I clean up good enough? That's what your mind goes to because you're being judged. It's a judgmental, thing. But oh, dude, because as a judge now, knowing I'm there to make sure that I don't cost you any points. That's exactly what I'm there to do.
And as a competitor too, one of the things that I learned kind of going through it was exactly right. If they didn't see it, you didn't do it. So I got really loud during my competitions, like when I was going to the pre-inspection, okay, I'm checking the horn now. And you just hit the horn and you scream out the side of the car. Okay, I'm going to wipers, make sure they're working. I got loud. I got real loud. I think that really helped me out that year is making sure that everybody heard me. Even though that judge was maybe 3, 4, 5 cars down the line, I wanted to make sure he heard me.
Yeah. No, 100%. Because Jeannie was one of my judges. All of my years I competed, and she's so quiet, like you didn't know she was around.
Yeah.
But I knew, because from the judges meetings, I had said a couple little things up near the competitor table that no one of the other judges heard, but she did. So I knew she had really good hearing. So I would always make sure if she was within earshot, I was saying something. You know what I mean? Like, okay, well, what we're going to do now is, or if she was right there, be like, okay, so, we've went over a couple of times, but your minimum driveway time is 30 minutes from now. So I just wanted to kind of make sure that you're aware of that before I get started, before I start, you know what I mean? Or, okay, so now we got 30 minutes, you know what I mean? Started from the time that I, started running the urethane. So actually you have this much time left. Okay, I'm writing down my temperature and humidity now anytime she was around, and then like he said, these judges, I've got a bunch of people they're judging as well. And there's noise outside of the ring. There's people doing things outside of the ring. So you're right. Get loud because you don't want to be the person that, well, I said it to my proctor and your proctor, these people would have no clue about auto glass whatsoever.
Yeah.
Maybe if they had their windshield changed in their personal life, but they never had their windshield changed on this level in their personal life. I guarantee you, unless they were in an area where that person was one of the best in the world, they didn't have their windshield changed like this. So, and that's designed on purpose because it's supposed to give you the authentic customer experience. So yes, you're supposed to be telling them this, but they don't really know what you're telling them sometimes. So
they don't understand. They don't understand.
Yeah. Make sure okay, as they're asking you questions and stuff, make sure they're writing it down. Make sure the judges can hear you. Getting loud.
Yeah, getting loud is important.
That's a great tip, Ben. That is a huge tip. If you guys are thinking about competing, that right there is one of the biggest things is make sure that they can hear you.
Absolutely. And when I was first doing the competitions, you go tunnel vision and then you become quiet and you get into this groove of not talking to anybody and just doing your job.
Yep.
You gotta step out of that comfort zone just a little bit and just announce yourself. You are the best. Announce it. Let everyone know.
Yeah. Yeah, walk in there and letting everyone know that, I'm doing these things because I'm the best. This isn't, and it's funny, the people that show up to compete that's never practiced there, they don't do, you can tell they don't, not so much practice because I didn't actually really practice until after 22, where you said, you started pulling customers in and did, I actually, made used the competitor packet and made a checklist slash point sheet. That's what I did is I broke down the points and then I had a check mark beside them. And then I would have Gene Nichols, who was our safety coordinator, come down and judge me because he had judged competitions in the past. So he'd come down and judge me. And then I would have one of the office people come out and be my proctor because, they dealt with commercial or they were customer service. So they would come out and be my proctor. So I really did practice, my last year, but it's funny. You could tell the technicians who they don't do this on a regular basis. They don't do this day to day. It's like they're trying to do it during the competition. It's like, oh man, take some time and get you a routine down, because it won't. Because then you can be loud and you can be comfortable with the customer because the rest of it is autopilot. You already do these
It is.
things. The rest is autopilot because you do it day in, day out. So then you can really focus on the parts that's going to get you points that could be missed by the judges because they didn't hear you or the proctor didn't hear you, you know? So for me, I've always talked to customers. That's like my favorite thing to do is talk to a customer.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
for me, the proctor part wasn't hard. But making sure the judges heard what I was saying to the proctors, that's why I always had my proctor walk around with me. Like literally, like a lot of the technicians I noticed, they say to their proctor, okay, you can now, if there was a safety like factor of I was picking the windshield up or I was getting ready to, you know, set the windshield, then it was like, yeah, your safety glasses on, just stand back a little bit.
Bingo.
I still want you to be able to hear and see what I'm doing, but you stand back a little bit so that way we can set this window. But a lot of them will have them, you'll look over and the proctor is sitting in the chair that's off to the back side of the car and they're up here working. And it's like, no, get them out of their chair, get them up there with you, start talking to them because first of all, they're doing a job and they want to make sure they're doing a job correctly because, you know, it's what they're there for. Exactly. And if you're just, you know, if there's that uncomfortable tension, it's not going to, you know, their impression of you matters too, because they have a section where they write down how you were. And so, like, if you could really bring that proctor with you and make them comfortable, just like you would in everyday life, that's important. That is so important. Because, like you said, the rest is autopilot. Yeah. Yeah, that's a very, very great tip is like make sure you're involving everybody, make sure you're loud. Give them another nugget. Let's drop another nugget on them of a tip. Let's go ahead. Let's give another competition tip, man. Come on.
Oh, geez. There's so many. Don't talk to your judges.
Do not talk to your judges.
Don't talk to them. Don't harass them. Don't even give them a side eye, okay?
Yeah, no, 100%. Like you could be completely disqualified. If you need to talk to your judge, go through your proctor first.
Absolutely.
Do not just look up and start asking the judge questions because it doesn't work like that. Like literally the competition is designed for that not to happen. So you got to talk to your proctor first because there was a few that looked up at me during the competition and said, oh, did I do that or didn't I do that? And I'm just turned around and walked away because it's like, you can't ask me questions, bro. Like seriously, you cannot ask me questions. You need to go to your proctor if you find something. And then, you know what I mean? It's like, I'm not here. Like I'm the eye in the sky kind of thing. You don't ask me questions. That's a great one.
Nope.
Do not talk to your judge. Do not talk to your judge. No, do not do it. Okay. Don't do it.
Don't do it at all. If you really involve that proctor there, involve them in everything you're doing on that windshield, and that's really going to help out. Yeah,
make sure you're protecting the vehicle. Make sure you put that in the routine. Yeah,
protect that vehicle. Make sure you're taping those corners down. You know, displacing or removing those A-pillars. And those A-pillars are a big thing, especially when you're stringing things out.
Yeah. Well, that's another. I'm glad you brought that up. There's a misconception. I have adopted the wire out tool pretty much exclusively on 100% of the vehicles I do. But
you and me both.
There is a lot of misconception in the industry that that's the only tool you can use in the competition. And it is absolutely not. You will not get points taken away if you use an extractor. If you use an extractor incorrectly, that's a different story. You get in there and you four-side it. That's a different story. So if you use an extractor wrong, if you use a cold knife incorrectly, those will take points, but you do not get points taken away from you for using that tool, for that being your chosen tool. None of that is as long as the tool is used correctly and the damage to the vehicle is minimal, or if there is some damage to the vehicle from that, it's corrected in the right procedure. That's the main point. Like the wire tool is great. And if you use it, it's a very awesome tool to keep, as long as you're not cutting pinch welds off the bottom. And so it's a tool used to keep, to protect and make sure that you're not doing excess damage. But the misconception is that you can only win using a wire out tool, and it's not true. It's not true.
Yeah, it's not true at all. And I remember one of my competitions, after it actually all happened, one of the judges came up to me and talked to me about it. I was using a string tool, and I was hustling through, and I got the string halfway across the bottom pinch weld there, and the string broke. And it hadn't happened to me before in competition. It was brand new string. And I panicked, didn't know what to do. Grabbed my tool, got out of the car, set it on my the tool chest that I had there, saw my cold knives and said, I can't waste time. So I grabbed those cold knives and went right to it. Right to
Yep.
it. And the judge, after all said and done, after we had won and everything, he came up to me and said, most people would have wasted time to restring it and reran it. It was good to see that you knew you could switch over to a cold knife instantly and still get the job done professionally.
Yes. Yes. And in 19, that on the Nissan we were doing, I wired everything out, but it kept breaking in that passenger side corner.
Oh, yeah.
So I broke there twice. Like I broke once and was able to tie it. When the second time it broke, I took the tool out. I went and grabbed my push knife express blade and just pushed it out because it was just this little section of bottom corner. What it was is that they had actually, it'd been done before, and they did that bead where they put the bead on the bottom and then ran it across the top three. So it was like so thick in that corner that it was just, because I was using ripcord then, and it was just because I had the Raptor, and it was just breaking and breaking. So I grabbed my express blade push and then just pushed that bottom corner out, took the window out. Even because they cut the time down on 19, we only had 55 minutes or something like that. Now it's an hour and a half. Yeah, now it's an hour and a half, which is a better time frame, I think, because there's still people that don't finish their. But in 19, there was only 5 of us that finished our car, and I missed the the top 4 by a few little points. But I had a couple really bad mistakes in 19, bro. I spilled primer on the floor, a bottle of primer, because I was so nervous. So I had to stop immediately and clean it up. And then the person I had helping me with my set, because I came in ready to use my little buddy because I didn't have my pro set yet. Well, the person I decided the last minute to have a person from my work help me set, and I run the bead on the glass, and he set it too high and he got a little bit on the roof, so I had to clean that up before I could finish. And then what I forgot the rearview mirror in the back seat.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
Yeah. So I had a bunch of hiccups in 19, but I was still able to finish my car. So pretty much, I mean, everything was done except for sliding the rearview mirror on. It was, it was. So you'll have those. So to become prepared for, those little things to happen that, normally don't happen to you. Kind of
be
thing.
on your toes. Think fast. Be on your toes and be prepared for anything. I mean, you pull that windshield, all of a sudden there's rust.
Yeah.
You gotta be prepared for that.
You gotta be prepared for that.
What's going to happen. Yeah.
Yep. These are rental cars. So someone else may have been in there before you and just hacked it up and then didn't primer. And then you got to be ready for that. You got to be ready to get to your proctor, tell your proctor so they can go to the judge. The judge can then stop your time. That time stops. It stops right then. And you're given the appropriate time to correct it. And then your time restarts. Is what it is. From that minute that it stopped, it restarts from there, and you're still given the allotted time to finish your job if you pull it out. Which is great.
It's absolutely awesome.
Yeah, 100%, because they understand that those things happen, but it also takes a lot of time to fix delaminating paint is an easy fix unless it's all the way around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it's a different story. But like delaminating paint, but you pull it out, even if it's delaminating paint, tell your proctor, they'll go tell the judge the time stops right then.
Yeah.
So you can correct that issue, because these vehicles do have to go back out into the community because they're rental cars, so they have to be done correctly.
Yeah.
So that the time is given that if you find that, don't come in thinking that if you find rust, you're penalized, because you're not. If you pull the windshield out, someone's hacked it up or the paint's letting loose, you're not. You're not penalized at all. You're actually time stopped, and you're able to correct the issue and then continue on. Because in the face of fairness, you want to make sure that even though the cars can't be dictated who has what and what's underneath what's underneath the windshield, still want it to be fair. I pull my windshield out and it's pristine. Ben pulls his windshield out and it's got delaminating paint and rust. Okay, his day just got way worse. You know what I mean? So because my car was pristine, I get extra bonus points. No. Yeah. So Ben's time stops. He's able to correct it. So make sure that if you're ready, come ready for rust. Yeah, don't panic.
Yeah, don't panic. During that pre-inspection, don't panic. You see a chip in the glass or something wrong with the glass, don't panic. Let your proctor know.
Yes. Yeah, and that's another good tip. When you are grabbing your glass, There's a couple things I will tell you. When you're grabbing your glass from the rack to take over to your new car, make sure you have gloves on. That's
Get those
huge.
gloves on.
Make sure you have your gloves on. Make
protection.
sure you have your safety glasses on and your gloves.
Yes.
And then make sure you really check that part out. And if that part has something wrong with it, make sure you tell your proctor, and then they will stop the clock and they will get you a piece of glass, because you can take your from the rack to your rack, but you can't start inspecting it until the time starts. So
Exactly.
your tool setup time, you can grab your glass, but you can't inspect it at all. So then if you start, your time starts, now you start inspecting it, and then you see something, tell your proctor, they will stop the clock and they will get you a new piece of glass if it's available. You know what I mean? If it's not available, then at least you don't have your windshield out when you catch it,
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Absolutely. Don't feel embarrassed either to talk to them about things like that.
no.
I've seen a couple of guys where I was watching and I knew something was wrong with that glass, and they continued on anyways. Say something. You're always going to be in the clear when you say something.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. So I'll tell you a story. And the heat in 23, I was doing a new Toyota, and I checked my glass over. And one big thing I do is before I cut anything out after I do my vehicle protection, I take the camera down and out and put it in the new windshield and make sure it seats. Okay. So I did that.
Smart.
And it seated, and I held it up and it looked, and everything was good. Right. So I do my disassembly. And as I'm doing my disassembly, I don't realize it, and I keep going, and my glass looked pristine, okay? But the one thing I didn't notice was that XYG, I think it was XYG or FYG, whoever made the glass that year, made that part wrong. They put a retainer molding on the bottom. Instead of the glass didn't have a retainer molding that was in the car, because it was like a switchover thing. So because it was coming to the competition, they didn't just use two-sided tape. They actually used some sort of two-part epoxy that thing was not coming off whatsoever.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Oh, no. So basically,
no.
Because I already had the old glass out, so I had to make a decision. And my decision was, I'm going to put it in, and I'm going to see if I can manipulate that cowl to slide up underneath of the actual retainer to get it to seat up on there. And don't do that. The judges see everything. I really thought because listen, I was on the, not to brag, but I thought I was on the route to have a perfect score in the heat. I'm not even gonna lie to you, because everything was just clicking like that, Yeah, and I knew, because I'd read the points packet so much and broke down the points, that in my head I knew which beats I had to hit. So I tried to hide it. Okay, this was the funniest thing. Okay, I'm gonna tell you guys this story since it already happened or whatever, but this was the funniest thing ever. Okay, so I'm trying to hide. I'm trying to force the calendar. And Jeannie walks up to me and she goes, I'm gonna go ahead, and we're not gonna stop the clock, but I'm gonna give you 2 minutes to figure out what's wrong. I was like, oh no, I don't need 2 minutes. I know exactly what's wrong. I know exactly what's wrong. She was like, oh yeah. I was like, this windshield's not supposed to have a retainer on it, and it does. And she was like, yep. And so my clock didn't stop. All the judges came over, okay, and they're discussing. And they were like, what solution do you have? I said, if it's okay, I will go ahead and put the cowl on there. You deduct the points for the cowl. And then I finish my car. And then, you judge on the rest of it. And then once the competition's done, I'll come back, remove that channel, and then slide it up under like it's supposed to.
Perfect.
And that was perfectly acceptable. And that's what I did. You know what I mean?
Good.
But I was able to get mine off, but they made every one for the Toyotas wrong that year. So Jimmy, who came from the Virgin Islands, he had one in the next heat, and we tried to get 4 of them off, and all 4 pieces of glass broke. So he ended up having to switch switching to a Volkswagen that was there, because we couldn't, no one could get those retaining moldings off. Luckily, with mine, the 2-part epoxy was enough to where I could get a wire under there without removing the windshield, and was able to wire. Yeah, so it was able to slide back under there, and everything was good. I knew I didn't have the time to do that in a competition, though. I knew 100%.
No, you don't.
So that's when they were like, do you have and I said, deduct extra points if you have to, but let me finish my car. And that's what happened. And then I remember one of my friends interviewed me after Steve from Autoglass Direct. Yeah, Autoglass Direct. Steve from Autoglass Direct. He interviewed me after it, and he was like, "What happened there? Something wrong with your glass?" And I just straight told him, I said, "Dude, I'm a leader. I should have caught that shit. I really should have." I said, "But the rest of the glass was pristine, and when I got to pulling the cow off, I didn't even look and think. I'm just like, I continued on my way. I made sure that the camera fit in the bracket because I do that on all my cars, because the bracketry's so off on the ones with ADAS that I always." One of the first things, so I avoid cutting the windshield out and then finding out later it doesn't calibrate because of a bracket. I always seat it in there and then stand it up and look and make sure it's in the middle and it's not off. That way, it kind of helps me a little bit. So
yeah, that's definitely a smart thing to do. Keep that routine.
Yeah, that's been my routine. So that's what I did, was snap it in there. But I did not catch it. I had a retainer on this one, and the original one didn't. So I barely made the finals that year. I think I made the finals by a point, I think it was, because of that deduction. It was such a huge points deduction, for that missing that. So I actually, but that's my story. So we're hitting the 59-minute mark, Ben. This has been amazing. I could keep going, but I know I like to keep these shows. I love this
conversation. I love the competition. It's so much fun, but yet, I'm not competing anymore, but when I watch you guys compete, oh, geez, I get the stomach pains and the butterflies in the stomach still. I know what they're feeling. Yeah, the bubble guts, man. I know what they're feeling.
Yes. So would you see us at Autoglass Week walking around and watching and stuff like that? No, we know what you're going through. We've been there. Come up and ask for advice if you want. For myself, I'm not going to speak for Ben, but for myself, come up and
ask me anything. I'm here with knowledge to share. I want everybody to be the best.
See, that right there is one thing that you and I have a mission on. Then I want to change the industry to where everyone is doing these things like it's the Cool Kids Club. And we want everyone to be the best. You know what I mean? So for too long, the Cool Kids Club is, I can do it in 20 minutes. I do the wiper salute. I stuff it. That's been too long in our industry. That was the Cool Kids. Yeah. How fast we could do it. That's not the Cool Kids anymore. So, but Ben, thank you so much for coming on my show. Do you have any parting words other than that for the listeners?
No, thank you for having me, and don't be afraid to ask questions of those around you who have a little bit more knowledge. Don't be afraid. They're going to be there for you. I'm going to be there for you. James is going to be there for you. These guys that have been doing this for as long as we have are always going to be there for you to help you step up and be the champion we know you guys can be.
Yes. Be that champion we know you can be. Be that champion. We all have the skill set. It's what you're willing to do to get to accomplish that goal. Yep. Beautiful. All right. Thank you, Ben. 1 second.
Thank you. You have a great day, sir.
Yo, live from the cutout zone. It's Ghost Set Killer, master certified, verified, glass tested and qualified. Welcome to Put 'em on the glass, no flippers, no hacking. Ghost Set Killer with the blade and the tape. Frog it out clean, process style, 80s calibration locked in, keep the focus down. Cups in position, VB dripping, 30-minute MDAT text stay ripping. From the dash to the pillar, it's a full-on class. Respect the craft, put them on the glass. Live from the cutout zone is Ghost Set Killer, master certified, verified, glass tested and qualified. Welcome to and qualified, blood vibration locked in, keep the focus down. Cups in position, VB dripping, 30-minute MDAT text stay ripping. From the dash to the pillar, it's a full-on class. Respect the craft, put them on the glass. Live from the cutout zone is Go Set Killer. Master certified, verified, glass tested and qualified. Welcome to Doe File, little vibration locked in, keep the focus dial. Cups in position, VB dripping. 30-minute M-DAT text stay ripping. From the dash to the pillar, it's a full-on class. Respect the craft, put them on the glass. Put them on the glass.